Sairam students, I welcome all of you once again to the second revision part of lesson number 16, water. So let's recall once again whatever we have learnt in the last revision part. So in the last revision part students, we spoke about the three different states of the water. So what are the three different states of the water? So as you can see that over here on the screen, a solid, gaseous and the liquid. So these are the three different states of the water. And what we have learned that over here in the first case, we try to dissolve a soil and we try to dissolve a sawdust into a glass of water. And in the second part, what we have done, we took a glass of water and in that we tried to dissolve a sugar. So as you can see that the two results are in front of you. When we put a sugar into a glass of water, a water looks transparent. When we dissolve a soil into a glass of water, a water looks muddy. So that means, can I say that the sugar is soluble in water? And in another word, I can say that a soil is insoluble in water. So here you can see that a sugar is soluble in water and the sawdust and the soil, they are insoluble in water. They do not get dissolved into the water, right? And again in the last lecture student, we spoke about what do you exactly mean by the pollution. So as you can see that what do you exactly mean by the pollution? Many type of the different type of the particle in soluble form, they are settled down at the base of the bottom, and at the same time as you can see that there are so many germs which are present here. So whenever the different component get mixed with to the water becomes impure. Some of these impurities, they float on the top of the water. So the water looks so much unclean, and this unclean and the muddy water, it is called as what? Pollution of water. So did you understand what do you exactly mean by the pollution of the water? And at the same time students, you must have seen that what do you exactly mean by the pollution of the water? In the sewage water, there are so many garbage has been thrown by the people. There are so many components, you can see that over here. So there are so many particles which are floating on the top of the water, and even the microorganisms are present in such type of the water. So some of these components get dissolved into the water, and some of these components do not, they get dissolved into the water. So the sewage water can carry the microorganism and they are responsible for spreading the diseases. So this type of the wastewater, they are actually causing the pollution. So here in this case, if the large quantity of the impurities, they get mixed into the river water, the natural process of water purification cannot keep into the pace, which will not occur by the natural way. The proportion of the oxygen is dissolved in the water, it gets reduced, and this is the threat to the aquatic living thing. So whenever there is a so much polluted thing, they get mixed into the top of the water will be completely polluted, and that type of the water we can't use for drinking or for any type of the use. So whatever living thing which are present inside the water, they will get the harm caused because of the pollution which is caused in the water. Okay, so students, what we have to do here? So here we are going to learn today regarding the method of the purification. So one of the simple way of the water purification is a purification of the water by the simple way. So as you can see that over here in this diagram, what we have done for the simple method of water purification, we took a plastic water bottle and we try to cut it into the half portion. And this plastic water bottle, we try to fill up with a different layer of the soil. So as you can see that at the bottom, first of all, we try to put the cotton cloth, and on the top of the bottom, and here in the bottom part, we try to put a powder coal, and on that we try to put a fine sand, and again on top of that we put a coarse sand. So as you can see that there should be three distinct layers. At bottom there should be coal level, in middle it should be fine sand, and again on the top of that it should be a coarse sand. So you should see a three distinct layer. Okay, and then what we have to do, we have to put on a polluted water from here. So when the polluted water will pass through these three layers, when the polluted water will pass through these three layers, the water will get automatically get filtered, and that pure water will be collected at the bottom. So this is the simple way of water purification. So again I have tried to explain this procedure over here. To listen here carefully once again. So what we are going to do here, we took a plastic bottle, tie a clean piece of cloth over its mouth, then cut off the base of the bottle, hold the bottle upside down, means the bottle should be inverted. The mouth portion of the bottle, it should be in the downward direction, and that bottom should be in the upward direction. Okay. Pour some powder coal into it. So at the bottom, as I told you, a powder coal should be at the base. And next, then what you have to do, you have to add a fine sand, then lastly a coarse sand to make the three different layer. And I showed you the diagram also. There should be proper three different layer, right? And then place the bottle on its lower cutoff portion as shown in the diagram. Now pour some muddy water containing certain rubbish material slowly into the water, and now try to observe the water which is collected at the bottom. So this is called as what, guys, here? Water purification. So there are so many ways of the water purification. The one which I told you, that was the easiest way of the water purification. But again, there are so many ways of the water purification which are conducted at the industrial level by us and by industries, and at the sewage level by everybody. So what are the four different ways of the water purification which are conducted at the water work? So as you can see that, student, over here, there are basically four ways of water purification which are done at the water work. The first is the settling. The second one is the filtration. The third one is the oxygenation. And the fourth one is the chlorination. So these are the four ways of water purification which are conducted at the commercial level. So as you can see that, student, what do you exactly mean by the settling? So in the settling process, the muddy water, it is allowed to settle down. So what we do in the settling part, we take a muddy water, we keep it like that only without disturbing. So when you keep a muddy water without disturbing, then what happens? Whatever the insoluble part is there, or whatever the soil particle is there, that will get automatically settled down at the base. And the above one will be the clear water. Okay, so that is the one of the way of the settling. The second way, it is the filtration. So in the filtration method, what we do, we use the filter machine and etc. to filter out the soluble microorganism and the insoluble one, and we try to remove all the germs and the soil particle which are present in the water, and we try to make it drinkable. So that is the filtration part. The third one is the oxygenation. I just told you right now that whenever the impurity gets mixed into the water, whenever the impurity they get mixed into the water gets completely polluted. So in the process of the oxygenation, we try to provide oxygen inside the water. So in the contaminated water, if we try to provide the oxygen, then the water will be cleaned up. So oxygenation is a process by which we can clear out the water. And the fourth one, it is the chlorination. So what do you mean by the chlorination? In the chlorination method, we add the chlorine powder in the water. So when we add the chlorine powder in water, the water gets filtered and the water gets pure. So chlorination is the one of the way by which the water can be cleaned up properly. So this chlorination technique has been used in the different type of the swimming pool etc. also. So in the swimming pool etc., when we add up the chlorine water, the water gets completely clean. So guys, as you can see that over here, there are four ways of water purification: settling, filtration, oxygenation, and the fourth one is what? Chlorination. So these are the four different ways. Okay. So students, what we have learned today? We learned about over here the different ways of the purification, and this was the one of the simple way of the water purification. So in this case, what we have done here, we try to make the four layer. As you can see here, powder coal and the fine sand and the coarse sand. We try to put a muddy water, and at the bottom we can see that a clean water has been collected. Okay, but might be this water might look clean, but there might be microorganism. So if we want to kill the microorganism, there is only one way: you have to boil the water. So when you will boil the water at higher temperature, boiling of water means what? There should be water bubble. So whenever there is a water bubble, so that is called as what? Boiling of the water. So when we boil the water, whatever the germs and the microorganism which are present in the water, that will be killed very immediately. So this is the one of the simple technique of cleaning the water. And again, the advanced technique of cleaning the water I told you here. And there are basically 4 ways of water purification. Again, I repeat once again here. First one is the settling, as you can see here. The second one is the filtration. The third one is the oxygenation, and the fourth one is the chlorination. So these are the 4 ways of water purification. About them in detail we shall discuss in the next lecture. Bye bye. Take care.